Hey, and good evening, everybody. It's Sunday, January 10th. We got one full week in the books, and we're just taking a look here at how we traded last week, and then we'll take a look ahead and see what we got coming down the pipe. And first thing I'm noting here, we did start out the session. The futures opened at 6 o'clock. We did start out the session flat, but now you can see here the Dow is trading down a little bit. All the indexes are down actually. Gold was actually up when we opened up, and now it's down just a bit. Silver the same. The US dollar showing some strength here after a whole lot of weakness the last week or so. And Bitcoin's been taking a bit of a hit here today on Sunday. Let's take a look what it's doing right now. So it's down about 4.6%, or if I should say 3.1. So yeah, we're down. Bitcoin getting a bit of a pullback here as well. So looks like we may be starting off the week on a little bit of shaky ground. But a lot can happen between now and the market open, so we'll see what happens tomorrow morning. But let's just take a quick look at some of the indexes as they finished off the week here. You can see transports really bounced back after the one-day pullback, and then we had a pretty significant bounce. And on Friday, of course, we had a nice run up right back up to all-time high, and then significant pullback on that on the daily. So that's not a great-looking candle. Finish on the week for the transports. On the week, we broke out here. See up another 3% and a little bit off the high, but still a pretty constructive week overall. Volume starting to build a little bit as we get into the new year, and all the indexes looking pretty good. The Dow on the daily, again, actually almost a inverse candle to the one on the transports. Pulled back quite a bit, but then we finished at or near the high of the day. Let's take a look at the weekly. Again, up on the week, all-time high, a little bit off the all-time high. We closed out the week up 1.6%. So uptrend still in place. Same with the daily on the Qs, breaking out. And again, breakout on the technology sector on the weekly as well, up at 1.7% roughly, volume building. So kind of like what you like to see here. As the markets go higher, we get follow through with some volume. The SPY again, all-time high on the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly again, all-time high, not really that far off the all-time high we closed at, up almost 2%. So uptrend still solidly in place, and probably going higher, despite the fact that we may end up down at the open here. Just look for some continued strength here. So you can see IWM, we had a big pop up, then pull back on Friday. Bit of a pause to refresh, but again, all-time high on the small caps. The TLT really breaking down. This is bond prices, which means bond yields are going higher. Something to keep in mind, something to watch as yields start to go higher. And you can see here, this is the 10-year Treasury, the yield. You can see we've definitely broken out of this consolidation pattern, whatever you want to call it. Ascending triangle, definitely a break to the upside. And at some point, this is going to become a problem for sure. If interest rates start to get up a little too high, it's going to bring some jitters to the market for sure. Here's the weekly again, just showing a nice strong breakout here on the yields. The dollar, you can see here, we're trying to hold on to this level. We're just flattening out here. Maybe we get some strength in the US dollar. That'll take some wind out of the emerging markets, and the commodities trades. Gold and silver have really been taking a hit. So let's take a quick look at the candles at a glance here for the different sectors. Again, SPY breaking out, talked about that. it's consumer discretionary, really strong. Just look at these four strong candles, and just a lot of pent up consumer demand. I think when things really start to open up, there's a lot of money sitting in bank accounts that isn't just accumulating, isn't being used, and I think people want to spend money, and that's, I think, what we're seeing here. Tiffany had a really good, I think, report recently. Lots of money being spent on things, luxury items. So yeah, consumer discretionary looking really good. Technology right back up at the high here. Industrials struggling a little bit, materials struggling a little bit, and I think we're going to have a little bit more challenge if we continue to see strength in the US dollar on the material side of things. Energy, sort of the same story. We may end up getting a bit of a pullback if we start to see a strengthening US dollar. And yeah, staples kind of flatlining here. Healthcare had a pretty good week. And financials, again, if we get increasing yields, financials should do just fine. So we might look for improvement or continued strength in financials as well. Quick look at what I'm still holding here. Still got some of this DBA, this agriculture fund, and we're doing a bit of a consolidation here. I'm just watching to make sure that we continue to hold this 16 level. We're still definitely in an uptrend. Happy with that. Although if the US dollar strengthens, we may get a further pullback here. EEM, again, if we get further strength in the US dollar, we may end up getting a bit of a pullback. We've really had a breakout here and on volume. And so we're getting pretty overbought here. So I'm going to probably lighten up next week. NEO, I took you on Friday. I was talking about that at the close. And they've had some news over the weekend. I guess we had NEO days, and then they announced some partnership or some kind of working relationship with NVIDIA. So watching for that on the open tomorrow. Again, just watching this as a psychedelics play. Still have some Trill. I'm still holding some of this Trillium Therapeutics. Again, got in here on this nice rounding bottom, cup and handle. And definitely was expecting some resistance right here at 16. We got to 1592. And I'm just watching here to see if we can get through 16 tomorrow. And the Vietnam ETF, still liking this, still established uptrend. Volume really picking up this over the last week or so. So it's looking really good. So let's go over some stuff I've got on watch here. I'm looking at Ballard. It's had a nice pop up here. We had a pretty significant pullback, pretty close to filling this gap here. And now we've had a nice rounding bottom, and we're pushing up here. We've gone through 20. I wish I had caught it on Friday, but I'll be looking to see if there's a bit of a pullback, possibility to get an entry, and then be looking maybe back for 850. RSI is rising nicely here. MACD is turning up. Stochastics are turning higher. So this is a nice looking little chart here on BlackBerry, BB. Clean Spark. Missed the pop on this. Maybe get a pullback here. A lot of the Cleantex, Plug, Ballard, all of these ones have really had some big pops in the last couple days. So I'll be looking for a pullback on some of those. They're getting really extended. And maybe a possibility for an entry because I still think alternative energy has some legs. Fubo is holding this 50 moving average here, right back where I would expect to have seen some support. We actually did have a bit of a false breakdown here. So I'll be watching for some consolidation. You can see volume really dropping off here on the downside. Stochastics maybe starting to bottom out here. Looking like we might end up getting a bit of a pop. RSI is rolling over still, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Watch for GBTC. This is really probably going to pull back tomorrow unless we get a huge bounce on the Bitcoin overnight. But this has really got quite extended. You can see here, so we were definitely due for a pullback. Got quite extended from these moving averages. So not surprising, we are getting a bit of a back and fill here. I'm looking at some of these SPACs. IPOD is one here. I don't think they've got anything that they've announced they're putting into it yet, but they're looking, and it probably will find something eventually. So might be a decent buy and hold. Same with IPOF. I think it's the same guy who's got both of those. This was a little runner I took right at almost right at the end of the day here on Friday, and it's I don't know where it's going to go tomorrow, but it was up $1.20 in the aftermarket on Friday. Micron, again, earnings report on Thursday, big sell-off on Friday after it popped up higher, and just really all the good news was probably baked into it, so it's a sell the news event. But there's a real shortage in semis, so if we look for a pullback, maybe get a pullback here to around 75, I think it might be a decent place to take an entry. NNDM, I should say, Nano Dimension, doing some churning sideways. I'm looking for a breakout of 10, breakout and hold of 10. Now I'm all out of my silver and gold trade based on these sell-offs that we've had. I just saw some really toppy price action here and sold the remainder of my positions. So I'm looking for this pullback here and silver and gold to get back into those positions. So here's another one I was looking at. This one definitely breaking out. It did go higher, but it sold off on this day. So now we're breaking to all-time highs. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one on Monday. And let's take a quick look at GDX, which is the other one I was holding, sold this week. Yeah, so I was glad I got out of it on Thursday. So pulling back to these moving averages, and again, this is the low I'd be looking at holding, sort of the 36 level. As long as it didn't break below that, break and close below that, we could end up getting a bit of a bounce after this big sell-off. So I'll be looking to add back on this position again next week. So that's a wrap, everybody. We'll see you hopefully in the Bear Bull Trading Room in the morning, 8:30, live on YouTube. Start our pre-market show. And then if you're going to join us in the room at 9:30, we will be trading the open. And of course, this is my book on Amazon available called How to Swing Trades. Haven't checked it out yet. It's there. So have a great rest of the evening, everybody. And hopefully we will see you in the morning. Bye for now.